Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Atira binti Ma'arifin. Today my group and I will be present about classification and filing system in Iium organization. Let's start first with introduction. The definition of classification and filing system. A key component of record management is classification. According to logically defined norms, methodologies, and procedural rules reflected in a classification system. To be emphasized, classification is the systematic identification and grouping of business operation and record into categories. By using a functional approach to categorization, classification can be utilized for a variety of record management goals, such as appraisal and disposal, handling, storing, and securing information, establishing user permission, titling, and indexing. Meanwhile, document filing entails storing them securely and making them simple to locate. For example, an official document. Kept for documents are less likely to rip, disappear, or get soiled. On top of that, a filing system can be described as the central record-keeping system for an organization. It assists organizations to manage records suspiciously as well as its employees to retrieve information easily. Next is for objective of filing system. There are 5 objectives of filing system. First is to keep the document safe, to supply proof, to give information, to complete tasks promptly, and to act as a guide. Meanwhile, the importance of filing system is efficiency, record protection, planning, legal obligation, and controlling process. Besides that, the impact of improper classification and filing system to organization. A number of dangers are there, with inadequate record keeping at their core, and they spread out in all directions. For one reason or another, every sort of data a company keeps need to be tracked, and if records are not maintained effectively, they can lead to potentially disastrous outcomes as shown below. First is loss of data. Second is numerous duplicate. Third is failure to follow industry regulation. Fourth is unwise managerial choice making. Fifth is company inefficiency. Meanwhile, for the current issues in classification and filing system is paper is used to represent document in a traditional setting. All of the typical document-related functions have electronic analog. In the rapidly developing realm of electronic document, the internet and electronic publication provide a sizable source of color and graphics that are applied to other texts. These developments are being driven by 3 different trends, which are described below. First is human mistake, second is resource management, and third is technology.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bilal bin Bakhtiar. I will explain on the background information of the company that we do the research on, which is Iium. International Islamic University Malaysia is co-sponsored by various governments and organizations around the world, including Malaysia, Bangladesh, Egypt, Maldives, Libya, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the Islamic country OIC. Established in the year, Iium strives to respect academic excellence and promote a balanced personality for graduates by integrating Islamic values into all academic activities. In line with the mission of integration, Islamization, internalization, and comprehensive excellence, the university is spiritually strong to develop Muslim Ummah and effectively promote Islamic belief and ideals. They strive to develop professionally prepared future leaders. Iium operates under the direction of a board of directors with 8 sponsoring governments and representative of OIC. They maintain ties with government and institutions around the world, including the Islamic University Federation, the International Association of Universities, and the Association of Commonwealth Universities. They also partner with several Malaysia-based companies and industries to provide students with the opportunity to gain hands-on work experience. Universities have a very wide mix of students and staff from different cultural backgrounds. Approximately 30,000 students from more than 96 countries, predominantly Islamic, are enrolled in various courses at the university with a wide range of qualification, Islamic backgrounds, and form of research. Universities can provide education integrated with Islamic values to everyone. Both Muslim and non-Islamic This mix of backgrounds connect students to a common pursuit of contributing to the learning process and enrich their knowledge and skills. IIUM occupies 5 locations in the residential areas of Petaling Jaya, Gombak, Damansara, Gambang and Badan Intera Mahkota in Pahang and Pagoh, Johor. This campus have easy access to all resources of the country's capital. IIUM has their mission and vision. As for the official one, their vision is to become a leading center for internationalization and global networking, enhancing IIUM visibility and global brand of Islamic educational excellence, while their mission is to enhance IIUM visibility and global brand of Islamic educational excellence worldwide. For the IIUM organizational chart, there are 2 separate charts which is represent. The first one is officers under the office of the Deputy Rector, led by Emeritus Professor Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli bin Abdul Razak as the Rector of IIUM. The Deputy Rector is Professor Dr. Nur Faridah binti Abdul Manaf, and there are 4 main offices which is for International Institute for Muslim Unity, Office of International Affairs, Office of Administration and Scholarship, and Office of International Promotion and Marketing Unit. For the second chart represents the Office of the Deputy Rector, led by Deputy Rector Professor Dr. Nur Faridah binti Abdul Manaf, Puan Rohana Kasman as a Secretary. Then it divides into 2, which is Senior Deputy Rector Puan Bazaimah binti Muhammad Abbas and Special Assistant to the Deputy Rector Professor Dr. Daud Abdul Malik Yahya Al-Hidabi. It is very important for organizations that include education, management or management organizations. Without efficient management, the production process cannot run smoothly and cannot be perfect in human life, especially in the field of education. Therefore, the function of IIUM is to plan all academic programs. Other than that, is to strengthen academic policy development for the benefits of everyone, establishing, maintaining the collaborations with the industries so that more exposure will be given.
Next, I will continue about the classification and filing system analysis. So for the first analysis, who is responsible for managing the filing system? The answer is first, the administrative officer in the record department, and second, admin assistant is functional as a departmental administrative assistant. Okay, next, what type of classification and filing system were developed and implemented? So, in this organization, we found that they use 2 filing and classification systems, which are a hierarchy classification system and a numeric filing system. All of these systems have their own benefits and challenges in order to keep the file managed in the best way. Okay, for the next question, what is the methodology applied for designing classification system? The answer is first, employing function classification by including a number block system known as the reference number system. Second, logic. It may be used to match one functional group with another, as well as activity, sub-activity, and transaction inside the company.
Proceed with the analysis and classification of IIUM filing system. The next question is, what are the challenges or obstacles in designing a classification system? For now, the only problem that we are facing is they move to Microsoft 365 cloud storage and no longer Google Drive. Whoever has more than 15 GB in their Google Drive, they must transfer as soon as possible to cloud storage so that all the files and records won't be missing. It is either bounced back and any attachment won't be received. Also, they have a storing manual at IIUM to avoid missing, hijacking, and most of it are confidentials like Senate meetings. Next question is explaining the type of coding system used. The type of coding system used by IIUM is KCDO. The KCDO filing codes are under the purview of the IIUM Records Management Committee. The new KCDO filing put for a new split merge. Casidios can only be created when the establishment merging of the office has been approved by the IIUM Board of Governors. The Casidio reference code are a maximum of 4 characters. Last analysis question for my part is, how is the coding system being set up? Any record keeping manual or procedures referred? The answer is yes. There is a manual procedure that makes sure all the files and records are in a safe hand. Instead, they have a policy on safety on documents, which contains 12 policies. It is must for general files to be put in separate cabinets from confidential, secret and restricted file. They also have proper identification and labels for each location of files. The type of storage used are compactor, 4-tier, file cabinet, and wooden or steel shelf.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurifah Hazira binti Mafuan, ID number 2020830756. I will continue the presentation with question G, H, and I. First, let's start with question G. Are there any guidelines related to filing system developed for internal users? According to the interviewee, there is no official guidelines for internal users. Even so, there were a series of workshops and seminars held aimed to teach and expose the IDMS to employees of related departments. All employees were intensively briefed, trained and familiarized themselves to use IDMS. All staffs were fully adapted to the new system, though there were some worries regarding older staffs with the changes of working surrounding as stated by Thompson and Mayhorn in 2012. Next question, H, is to describe the arrangement of file for access and retrieval. The arrangement of file for access and retrieval in IIUM are based on the National Archive Institution, as it serves as best demonstration of how file and documents should be preserved. Using the National Archive Act 2003, many organizations implemented the same action to their internal archives, including IIUM. The last question, question I, are there any access privilege to protect records confidentially implemented? The access privilege primarily is all files and records are easier to obtain and recover. Moreover, it helps save costs in terms of maintenance fees and license, since IIUM uses its own system, and also it has tremendously reduced document searching times. This means that several users are able to retrieve the same file simultaneously. Another privilege is that the system has enormously reduced risk to the hard copy documents or file of getting lost during transfer process, or frequent handling by human force will certainly affect the originality shape of the documents.
Describe the file storage procedure applied. In IIUM organization, the record should be kept by respective unit monitored by authorized personnel. The record should be kept in the office cabinet as well as database system or computer diskette. And first, a general file will be stored in the filing cabinet at the general filing room, and staff personnel file will be kept in the special filing cabinet or safe cabinet at the general filing room. Meanwhile, the confidential file will be kept in the safe filing cabinet. For the describe how file circulation being managed, which is movement of file in IIUM organization. File circulation being managed in IIUM by the need to keep track of file by recording borrowers. For example, by using a file request card or computer recording. Staff must use a file movement card to allow borrowers to keep up to 10 days, and secondary borrowers are responsible to inform the staff in charge. Hence, to illustrate the procedure for movement of file, first is receive request for borrowing a file and look for the file. Second is fill in the relevant info in the file movement card and give the file to the borrower. Third is need to give someone else. Fourth is fill in the FMC. Fifth is give the FMC to the staff in charge of file. Six is return the file. 7 is look for the FMC and fill in the returning information. 8 is insert the card into the file. 9 is put the file in its respective docket or shelf in the cabinet or room. And the next question is, are there any training related to classification and filing system required for implemented for internal users? Yes, there is training related to classification and filing system required and implemented for internal users. This is done to make it easier to manage the process of classifying, organizing, storing, and maintaining file as needed.
Next, in this slide, this is about the files for management file. In this file, there is a collaboration such as function with code 11 and next activity, subactivity, and lastly transaction.
Continuing on the files for the management file, there is consultancy as the function with code 15, following by the sub-activities, code, and transaction.
So in this slide, it is about the recommendation. So first recommendation, we recommend disaster recovery plan. IIUM organization lack a suitable disaster recovery plan. This is because they rely on most backup in the cloud storage. However, as we all know, cloud storage has drawback and require a network connection to get the information. A disaster recovery strategy is preparation for good record management in various companies. Disaster preparedness is part of the organization's overall disaster risk management, and it is done to preserve paper and electronic documents from harm in man-made or natural crises. There are three phases in emergency preparedness strategy, which are as follows. First, prevention. It covers the measure for catastrophe prevention. Second, preparation include the procedure for identifying catastrophe and then creating action to be implemented in the event of a disaster. This phase aims to identify the critical paper and personnel training required to respond to various climates. Third, after phase or recovery phase, this focus on the activity that may be taken to cope with disaster and so maintaining business operation by recovering the firm important document and information.
To sum up, as every institution send and receive multiple correspondence on daily basis, all records in transactions must be preserved in an accessible and secure location to ensure validity of all files. Since most modern businesses rely on filing system, every organization must have understanding of classification and filing system in order to adopt the system into their own companies. Most organizations have their own record managers to handle the filing system, or they mainly use professional services to maintain their asset. That is all from us. Thank you for lending your ears and have a nice day.